This is S4 homework help that's due Tuesday the 17th of November. Starting with the National 5 part of the homework. This is from the textbook, exercise 23E, and we'll start with question 2. The first thing you need to do in order to find the minimum value of the graph is sketch the graph. So 2 is your amplitude, 3 is your cycles, and plus 4 is your vertical translation. So if it was in the form A cos bx plus c, that is your A, B and C. If it's easier, then do the 2 cos 3x first. So your 2, changing the amplitude, nice and easy. Instead of 1 and minus 1, you're going to have 2 and minus 2. The 3x, so that means we've got 3 cycles within 360. So 360 divided by 3 gives you 120. So we can add that to our graph. So we know our graph's going to go to 120. And then you need to split that up into 4. So 120 divided by 4, 30, just to make sure that it's crossing in the right places. Okay. You can then draw your 2 cos 3x nice and easily. You can do that first if you want, and then do a second graph with adding 4, so moving it up the y-axis by 4 places, or you can cut straight to adding the 4. Okay, I don't mind which way you do it, as long as you make it clear and label your graph with the equation. Once you have your graph, you need to find the minimum value. So you're looking at when the graph is at the lowest point. So the minimum value is going to be whatever is here on the y-axis, and it says for which value of x does it occur, so you need to also let us know the x value. So you should finish your answer off with x equals and y equals. Question 4 is very similar to the example we did in class, like question 3 and 5. First thing I would recommend you do is rearrange the equation so that it's in the form A cos bx plus c. So we can rearrange it by h equals negative 50 cosine 60t plus 70. You can then sketch the graph. Please remember, when you are sketching, negative 50, amplitude of negative 50 means the graph is going to be flipped. So once again, like we did in class, you can do negative 50 cosine at 60t first, and then add your 70, which means carrying out your vertical translation. You can then do parts A, B and C once you have your graph sketched. A is just a case of putting t equals 20 into your equation that you're given, so you don't need your graph for part A. Part B, however, you will need your graph. So we're told that point P is the time when it is released. So that's going to be at the very beginning, when your x is going to be 0. Okay? So if you have a graph, an upside down cosine graph like that, your point P is going to be here. Okay? So we want to know when is the next time it is at that level. So you want the values here. And it says after how many seconds. So be careful you're not looking at height. Okay? That's going to be your seconds along your x-axis. And then part C, what is the furthest the weight gets from the ground? So that is going to be your maximum. So if you've got your cosine, it's going to be the highest point. The first part says what is the furthest the weight gets from the ground, so you're looking at height. The second part of C asks when does this first occur, so you're looking at time. Moving on to National 4 section of the homework, you're looking at the revision booklet that was handed out last week, and it's question 1 on page 10, using Pythagoras' theorem in a problem. The first one, you're given a rectangle, you need to find the diagonal. So you can start by redrawing it as a triangle, right angle triangle more importantly, using Pythagoras' theorem. So A, B and C triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. you can work out the value of the diagonal. Question 2 is very similar. You're given an isosceles triangle this time. We need a right angle triangle, so we can cut it down the middle. Remember, when you are working out this length here, it is not 70 because you've cut it in half. You know that this is 65, and it's the height you're trying to find, so this is h here. Okay. Now remember, 65 is your hypotenuse, so that is your c squared. So c equals 65. A and b don't matter too much. You'll need to just do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then rearrange that to find the value of h. Okay, moving on to page 12, question 1. You're given a triangle and you need to find the value of the angle, so we need to use SOHCAHTOA. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan opposite over adjacent. In this problem, we are given this side and this side. So A is your opposite and B your hypotenuse. So you need to identify which one in SOHCAHTOA are you going to use. So O and H is that one there. So you can then write sine x equals opposite over hypotenuse. Putting in your numbers from the question, you can then work out the value of x by doing the inverse in your calculator, and whatever your answer is. Question 2 is very similar to the last one. Again, you need to use SOHCAHTOA. This time you are given the angle and you are given this value here. Okay, so that's the adjacent. So your adjacent equals 20. You are asked to find the height, so you want h. So you can choose which one you're going to use, sine, cosine or tangent, put your numbers into your formula and find h.